In this short video, we're going to talk about how you can find a missing angle measurement in a triangle or in a quadrilateral. Before we can talk about that specifically, we should notice something about the sum, so what they add up to, the interior angles of triangles and quadrilaterals. So these are two pictures we saw in the last video. We have here an equilateral triangle as well as a right triangle. I want you to notice 60 plus 60 plus 60 equals 180 degrees. Over here, 90 plus 60 is 150, plus 30 is 180 degrees. So you can test it with different triangles if you want to, but every single triangle you could ever draw, the interior angles, so the angles of the three corners, will always equal or add up to 180 degrees. If you think about it, it makes sense. Remember we talked about an obtuse triangle can only have one obtuse angle, because if there was three angles bigger than 90, it wouldn't touch, the sides wouldn't touch. It has to be this way, adding to 180. A quadrilateral, which I hope you remember is a four-sided shape with four vertices or four corners. Slightly different, but the same concept. 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90 is, 360. Same here, 120 plus 100, 120 plus 120 is 240, plus 60 is 300, plus another 60, 360. Presumably you're seeing the pattern already. Down here, 80 plus 130, 150, 230, 270, 360 with the 90. And last one here, this is a little harder to do. Just trust me, you can do the math if you want. It adds up to 360. Same concept, because all the sides have to come together to meet. It will, if it is a quadrilateral, a straight four-sided shape with four corners, will always, the interior angles, so the angles on the inside, will always add up to 360. So I summarized what we learned in the last little bit up here. The sum of the interior angles of a triangle always adds up to 180. The sum of the interior angles of a quadrilateral, so anything four-sided, adds up to 360. So here's an example of a question you might see. What is the measurement of the missing angle? Really, this is a practice in subtraction. So 180 minus 52. I'm just looking at this one first. Doesn't matter which one I minus first. 7, 10 minus 2 is 8. 7 minus 5 is 2. Minus 1. 128, then minus the 38. Just trying to find that missing one. 8 minus 8 is 0. 12 minus 3 is 9. That should have been pretty obvious. It's not completely clear, but yes, that is definitely a 90-degree angle when I look at it. Down here, this is obviously a quadrilateral, four sides, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it should equal 360. So I'm gonna go 360 minus, I'm gonna start here, 47. 5, 10, 10 minus 7 is 3, 5 minus 4 is 1, 3. Then minus 79, 0. 13 minus 9 is 4, 2, 10. 10 minus 7 is 3, 2 minus nothing is 2. And minus this last guy, 147. 14 minus 7 is 7. 12 minus 4 is 8. And 1 minus nothing, so this must be 87 degrees. I encourage you to look at the angle and try and think, okay, 87 degrees is close to 90. Does that look almost like a 90? Yes, it makes sense. If your number is ridiculous, you probably made a silly mistake somewhere. And just two final examples you might see. So this one, 2 of the angles in a triangle measure 3 degrees and 2 degrees. What is the measure of the third angle? Wow, I'm just imagining what this triangle would look like. If 2 of the angles are that small, it must be almost like this. You don't need to know that, but I'm just thinking these are really small angles. Okay, so we know that the interior sum of the angles of a triangle equals 180. So 180 minus 2 is 178, minus another 3 is 175. 175 degrees. In this last example, we're looking at quadrilateral. 3 of the angles in the quadrilateral measure 153 degrees, 76 degrees, and 62 degrees. What is the measure of the fourth angle? We know they all add up to 360, so let's just do some subtraction. 360 minus 153. 0 minus 3 can't do. Bar next door, that becomes a 5, that becomes 10. 10 minus 3 is 7. 5 minus 5 is 0. 3 minus 1 is 2. So now 207 minus 76. 7 minus 6 is 1. 0 minus 7 can't do. Go next door, that becomes a 1. That becomes 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 1 minus nothing is 1. And finally, 131 minus 62. That becomes a 2. That becomes a 11. 11 minus 2 is 9. 2 minus 6 can't do. Go next door, 0. That becomes 12. 12 minus 6 is 69. So the answer is 69 degrees. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do for instruction on this one. Good luck.